Hey Lionheart folks, it's Lev. Welcome back to another video. For those of you who are new, I use he and pronouns. I haven't worn this shirt in a very long time, so yeah, this is one of my favorite shirts. Also, my hair keeps getting long, and I wouldn't be able to get a haircut until late October, early November, so I'm gonna look like a gorilla by then. Past few days has been very eventful. In terms of COVID, wow, numbers keep going up and up and up when we're still in lockdown. There was an earthquake yesterday. First time in my life I experienced an earthquake. There was an earthquake in Victoria yesterday. Yeah, I was in a team meeting, right? And then literally my laptop started shaking like this, and then half of my coworkers ran outside. And but I'm okay. I'm safe. Nothing got destroyed around me, which is good. In terms of my health, burning chest pain came back, but psychologically I didn't like let it get me down. I'm just like, okay, you're here, I'm just gonna rest a little bit, get back on my feet and keep going. I didn't ruminate about it, and psychologically, like, I was still good. It's just like I felt pain, but then it didn't get to me psychologically, which is really good. Work today was fun. The last 2 hours of my shift I was postman Pat. I went to so I do part of my job is group logistical stuff, and I went to get packages, and then I went to my coworker's house to get the company credit card, and then I went to the post office to send off the packages for the groups because we do like art stuff, and then we send art supplies out to participants. So I was just picking up packages and getting it sent off at Australia Post. So I was postman Pat, and it was fun. It was fun. Okay, so that's enough updates for me. Today's video is sort of a reflection and just, I guess, thought dumping video about how it's been 4 months since I kicked out of my life and permanently kicked out of my life, and how I'm going now and how I'm feeling about the whole dating thing. And I'm gonna give some context. So if you have never seen me before and this is your first video and you haven't been following, I will give you context, don't worry. May 24th, 2021 was the day I officially kicked someone out of my life, as in I blocked her and never spoke to her again. Um, and this person is someone so basically we were like in a relationship, but we were not official, and we were like dating online. We met through an online dating app. Um, it took a while to, I guess, build the connection, which is understandable. And I don't rush these things. Like, it took a few months to get comfortable with each other, and we sent each other a lot of videos when we felt comfortable. We messaged each other a lot. We had a lot of video calls later down the track. So we were like online dating, but we were in a romantic relationship, but we weren't official because we hadn't met in person yet. And during the month of April, she had some personal stuff going on. I wasn't exactly sure what was going on, but she wasn't really up for talking, and I respected that space. Like, it's okay, you need a break from me. It's okay if you don't feel like talking. Like, I respect people when they are going through a lot and they need their own space and they don't want too much, I guess, to talk too much, and that's okay. Um, yeah, I respect that. And so I gave her some space to have time and what am I saying? I gave her some time and space to, I guess, work through the things that she needs to work through. And yeah. But what I didn't know during this time was that she went and slept with someone else. And I know this because she told me directly afterwards. Like a few weeks afterwards, it happened. That stung. And I'll tell you why it stings even more. It's because when I tried to meet up with her in person, she says she's busy. Um, and travel was not going to be an issue because I told her, if you can't come to me in Melbourne, I will come to you in regional Victoria. Like, I have no problem traveling to you, so traveling is not an issue. Like, I will literally come to your neighborhood to meet up with you. I don't care because that's how much I wanted this, and that's how much effort I was willing to put into this. Like, I would travel to regional Victoria to meet someone if they can't come down to Melbourne. It's not a problem for me, but it's just like busy, 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 or she doesn't reply when I say, or when I say you want to hang out, she says I'll get back to you, and she never did. Or she just says, okay, I can't do this day because I'm busy. I'm like, okay, let's plan. I haven't tried planning 1 month in ahead. I'm like, okay, give me a date in the future that you're free. I'll block it out. And it never happened. So we never met in person. But so that's context, and it stings because she doesn't, she says, she basically indirectly says no to me meeting up in person, and I care about her and I loved her. And this was the point. Like, I guess early on, it made sense. She might not have felt comfortable meeting up with me in person, but this was like we've been talking for a few months, and we were like we loved each other and we were in love with each other, right? And I was willing to travel for her, and she indirectly said no to me. But she says yes when her so-called friends invite her to this party. I don't know, this little house party, and to drink alcohol. And then she got drunk and then she slept with the guy. That's something I don't know how to process when you say no to someone who loves you and someone who you love, but you say yes to people who don't really care about you and just want to use you. And I realize like that. I'm had that realization a few months on after I kicked her out of my life, and that stings even more. I'm just like, that's just really low in the way I was treated. All right, so I remember. So, April 26th was the day I started my job. And she told me the weekend, like the Saturday and Sunday before that Monday, that I started my job on. So April 24th or 25th, she told me. Um, I'm gonna use profanity in this video because I gotta express myself in ways that normal words in the English language cannot capture. I was fucking wounded, and the amount of trauma I carried in my head and in my body was enormous. My nervous system was just heightened, activated, and I'm just like, what the just what the hell is going on here? And I'm just like, this is wrong. And then I talked to my friends, and they were all like, what? And then it basically was, what is that word? I was blindsided. I never saw this coming. Like, during the little break period that I gave a space, I did not expect this to happen. I never saw it coming with us. Yep. And then I went to work. My first few days of orientation, I couldn't focus. I had blocked her, by the way. Like, that weekend, I blocked her. I could not focus on work. I was just like trying to process exactly what's going on here and how, what. It was a lot of why, really. It was a lot of why, why. Um, it was even harder for me to understand because she's been cheated on before, and we talked about how she'd been cheated on before and how I don't condone that and how she doesn't condone that. But she does it. I don't understand. Yep. So I blocked her, I think, for a week or two, and then my nervous system was still very heightened, and I kept feeling sick, like nausea, chest pain, headaches. I couldn't focus properly. My world was crumbling down, and this incident was the main cause of it. And I started losing myself. It's like it messed me up really badly. And then my body and mind, one night after work, my body and mind were just like, you gotta unblock her and talk to her properly about this. Like, it was inconclusive. Like, it was not proper closure for me, And I didn't like that. And so I unblocked her. I messaged her. I'm like, we need to talk about this. And then we had a video call, and that's when she told me that her so-called friends made her drink, and then she got very drunk, and then it happened, and then she woke up, and this regret hit her, like she realized what she has done, and this feeling of guilt, yeah, woke up and it's like, fuck, I did this, like shit, sort of feeling. I remember that call. It was sort of nice that we sort of talked that out, and then I was prepared to give her a second chance. Um, but during this time, it was like early mid May. I was still left in the dark as to whether we're gonna restart this relationship or like I didn't know her position on it because like I knew that I was willing to give this a second chance and rebuild it, but I wasn't sure where she was, and I was left in this darkness. I'm like, yo, tell me like where you at with this? And then like on May 24th this year, I just cracked, and I'm just like, you need to tell me. Like I can't sit in this darkness and uncertainty any longer. You have to tell me how you feel about us. And she's like, I don't think I can be through a relationship right now, but we can still be friends and talk. And then my when I read that line, right, my entire nervous system just it didn't go into shock, but it was just like this incredible feeling of like nope, 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 just throughout my body and mind, just like nope, left, back out now, back out now. You cannot do this, back out now. If you don't back out now, you're gonna be fucked up. And my body and mind was screaming at me, you need to get out now. And then I'm just like, I can't do this. And then and then I wrote her like, I can't do this anymore. It's not healthy anymore. What we have is no longer healthy. And then I said, we need to kill this love. And that night, I blocked her. May 24th, I blocked her, and we have had nothing, no contact or nothing to this day. And that's this sequence of events. And now I'm here, almost 4 months on, talking about it again. It's just I'm in a completely different place now that I'm talking about it compared to early on when the incident when I just learned about the incident and I was talking about it. Completely different, Lev. Was I seriously hurt from that incident? Yes. Did I condone that behavior? No. But as shitty as it was a blessing in disguise. Like it was a fucking shitty situation to be in. Being on the receiving end of that, shit, it's not nice. But I don't regret what happened, and if I could go back in time, I would want that to happen because it's done so much good for me. It might sound weird, but I'm gonna talk about it. I'll explain. It's done so much good for me, and if that entire thing did not happen, I wouldn't be the same level as I am now. Like I wouldn't. Firstly, I wouldn't be as confident staying up for myself because the May 24th day when I decided like I can't do this, I'm blocking you. That was me standing up for myself. That was an act of me standing up for myself. And if you haven't watched my other videos, I used to be a kid with serious anxiety. I was like a doormat to people. I found it very hard to say no. So basically, I obeyed what people say because I was scared of hurting their feelings. I was a doormat. I was bullied. I was taken advantage of. And when I was younger, I was thinking I can't be someone who stands up for himself. Like I don't know how did you even get to that state? Um, because my dad, he used to be bullied and taken advantage of when he was a kid as well, and then now he's just a guy who stands up for himself and takes no bullshit. And I'm like, I can't be like you. And then, funnily enough, all of these adverse things happened to me, including this experience. That's mm, sort of forced me to grow into a version of me that stands up for myself and takes no bullshit. And that blocking her was an act of standing up for myself, and I didn't like it. Like it hurt me to do it. It hurt me to do it. But I knew it was the right decision for me in the long run. And 4 months on, I can say that I absolutely do not regret doing that whatsoever. Even though it did sting, and healing and going through the grief process took a while. And that's okay, but I'm so glad it happened, and I'm so glad I did that. Secondly, it's really made me realize my worth. Like, there are people I give all this effort to, all this love and care into, and then they can behave in a way that shits on everything. And like, it's like, am I garbage to you or something? And it's really clicked in my head, like, Lev, like, you deserve better than this. Like, it's really made me think about this. Like, Lev, you deserve better than this, and you don't deserve people in your life who treat you like this. And yeah, it's just in general, just made me realize, it just really hit me. Like, and that had to happen for me to, that had to happen for it to really click in my head. You deserve more than this, Lev, and you're not deserving of being treated like trash. Another thing it's done for me is that it's taught me, like, Lev, watch what people do, not just what people say, because people can say a lot of things, but they don't mean it, or their actions contradict what they're saying. Like, I love you, and then going and sleeping with another guy. It doesn't work like that. Like, your people's actions really do speak louder than words, because people can talk a lot. People do that. They talk a lot, but they don't follow up with action. Like me, whenever I say something, I do it. Like, what I say and my actions and the way I live my life, everything, it's all in alignment. Like, I don't bullshit and say stuff and then not mean it and not follow up with it. I don't say things I don't mean. That's me. That's how honest I am with myself and other people. Like, I don't say things and not mean it. So, yeah, I trust actions more now. It's like, Lev, pay attention to actions more. What people do, not just what people say. And if there is inconsistency in what I say and what I do, I would pick up on it very easily, because my body would just go into this state of internal conflict, and then I would start feeling sick and stuff again. So yeah, everything, like, for me, everything has to be in alignment. Otherwise, it messes me up. One one like one damaged part in the entire chain will mess up the entire chain for me. I also forgot to mention earlier in the video that this was my first relationship, and it was my first one, like very first one. I went into this not knowing how relationship work, or I knew nothing, and I was just learning along the way. And damn, this one has definitely taught me a lot of things, even about myself. So I was very attached to this person, and like, I mentioned this in another video, but I'm gonna talk about it here briefly. I like, it was hard for me to do things without telling this person, or like, this person, like, I could not be without telling this person everything I'm doing. And this person was a void filler for me, because that, like, that was a part of me. Like, I felt like something's missing, and this person was just this void filler for me. And that's partly my fault, not setting appropriate boundaries. And because again, it was my first relationship and I had no idea what I was doing, and I didn't have appropriate boundaries. So like, the line between my life and her life, and where we don't overlap, it was very hard. It was a very gray area, and I didn't know where that boundary was. I didn't even set the boundary because I was new. And it was until after I said goodbye, that no, shit, there's this void in me now. It's because this person's been a void filler for me for months, and then now the person's gone. My void is very obvious and can be felt very strongly from within, because there's not something distracting me 24/7. And it was through this healing months of healing that I sort of not filled this void with other people, but like with myself, and learning how to be content with being alone and being by myself, and sitting in this aloneness, and some sometimes it's uncomfortable being alone and feeling lonely, but sitting in it and like learning how to sit with it and sort of leveraging it for growth is something I've been doing very actively. And that's part of how I've got to where I am today. And like the void's no longer there, and I'm not in a relationship. And even with friends, I haven't seen them for months because of COVID lockdowns. And yeah, I do message friends and talk that way, but it's not the same thing as meeting in person. Yet I feel so happy still with my life and where I am at and what I'm doing. And yeah, essentially, I guess I built myself up to the extent that the void is no longer there, and I'm content with being by myself and sitting with this discomfort of feeling lonely sometimes. And the person who behaved in that way, I don't hate her. And I did feel angry when it first happened and just frustrated, but I don't hate people as people. I hate what people do. I hated her behavior, but I do not hate her as a person. Um, and I also acknowledge that she has been through a lot of stuff in her life, and there's trauma there that's carried, and all of these things. But someone having their own trauma and challenges and going through their own healing journey does not mean that I don't honor my own boundaries and my own needs. And for me, that meant saying goodbye, even though it stung. And I do hope that she can heal from this incident as well, and also learn from this incident as much as I did, even though it didn't end great. Like the incident, the behavior led to some very drastic consequences, but I really do hope that person ends up healing as well and find someone and meet someone who's kind and loving, and you know she deserves a healthy relationship as well with someone who does love her. For moving forward with this, like my therapist has asked me and my friends have asked me, like, are you back in the dating game? And I said no, I'm not, and I'm not doing online dating. And I'm not in the dating game yet. Like, I mean, if I meet someone and we click and it just progresses down that direction, that's great, and I'm not closing the door on that. But it's also not the most important thing for me right now, and I'm not prioritizing that. I'm not like putting that on top of my priority list and going out there and trying to meet people. It's just like if it happens naturally, I'm open to it, but it's not something I'm focused on right now. Just lastly, before I end this probably very long video, and thank you for getting through it with me if you've made it this far. Um, what I think is important in a relationship and what I look for is a lot of things, but most importantly, someone who can be vulnerable with me and like who I can have deep conversations with, because I hate small talk and I like deep conversations that have meaning, and also someone I can grow with as a person. Like, not just, I don't want to be in a relationship for the sake of being in a relationship. Like, I want to grow together with this person. Like, we learn from each other, we help build each other up to be better versions of ourselves. That's also very important to me. And the other thing that is important, I'm not saying my entire list, but this is also important to me. Someone who can be independent. Like, it's good to have like me, like have each other in our lives, but also knowing how to be alone and be without each other. I speak like this is for me and my future partner. Like knowing how to be alone, and being independent of each other as well, and like having our own life that doesn't involve each other, if that makes sense. Like, I don't want to be in a relationship with someone where we're in each other's lives 24/7. I think having individual space is also important. Um, Thanks for watching, folks, and thanks for getting through this very long video with me. I really do hope you enjoyed it or you got something out of it. I don't know, whatever it may be, or it helped you in some way, whatever it may be. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.